thinking about ninjas. All day. Every day.
Hello, welcome to episode 57 of Chet and John's reassuringly final gaming playlist. My name is John Denton. With me as always, Chet Roivas.
What's going on?
You know the deal by now. 2 top 10 lists going from 10 to 1. 10 being the game we played the least this week, 1 being the game we played the most. Let's go, Chet, number 10.
Okay, my number 10 is an Xbox Live indie game called How to Get a Girlfriend.
Surely you played this one already.
No. That was How to Get Good at Dating or something.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's this is just text. There's silhouettes of women. It looks kind of like one of those cards you find in telephone booths.
Oh yeah.
Advertising prostitutes. There's just sort of weird 70s porn music. Actually, it's not really 70s porn music. It's kind of like music that you'd think you'd hear in like a sex education video from the 70s.
Right.
Kind of weirdly clinical and it's strange. But anyway, it's. Text comes up, you walk up to you see a girl you like in a bar, what do? You pick A, B, C, D, buy her a drink, act thirsty because you want a drink in the hope that she'll buy you a drink, dance, all of these options. And that's all it is. They give you 4 options, and then at the end it says, not would you like to buy the full game, it's would you like to buy the full experience. It amused me for 5 minutes. I mean, I just would love to meet the guy that made it because it's got that kind of belligerent, I know everything attitude. It's like, can't help but picture the guy that created it. From some deleted scene from a John Hughes movie, a guy with big sunglasses and a waistcoat who calls himself the Love Guru.
Yeah, because he's got gold chain.
And it's just the belligerent attitude of his responses. Girls love free drinks. Lesson number 1. All this stuff.
That is good advice.
How to beat the friend zone. Act distant from her and be mysterious. It will. I mean, it's fucking crap, but I mean, 5 minutes.
80 points
spent. I think it's 80 points. Yeah, I didn't even fucking check. Who cares?
Indeed, who cares? My number 10's a little bit classier than that, I think. It's Year Walk, a game that Dave talked about last week and I talked about a while ago. I went back to it, and it's really good, but you do need a pen and paper to play it, and fundamentally I don't like that idea. I know lots of people do. They like to have puzzles and work things out on the pen and paper, but I don't, especially on an iPhone game. I don't want to have to dig out a fucking pad that's bigger than my phone to start scribbling things down. So there's lots of stuff where you have to remember sequences and then bring that information into another part of the game to type it in, whatever. That kind of does made in, but it's not really, it's not really a criticism. It's just the way the game is, and it's still a really stylish, very classy, creepy game, very cool. But I don't want to fucking get a notepad, but I'm just a lazy idiot. We already knew that.
The more I hear about that game, the less I want to play it.
I don't think you'd like it now. No, I don't think you'd like it, because I think you're like me. You don't want to be getting out notepads and trying to work out puzzles and things.
Yeah,
you just
really.
Want fucking action.
Yeah, meatheads
even
are
puzzle action. Yeah, but the action could be slow and puzzly. But I don't want to. I just don't want to get a notepad. It's stupid because I always have a notepad. I have a notepad in front of me right now.
I'm still intrigued though, because that doesn't sound unappealing. I just always associate that with Fez, which is puzzles so complex I don't even want to begin to think about them.
Yeah, no, these aren't that complex. It's just the more you've got to remember stuff, and there's no way you could remember it, especially you. There's definitely no way you could remember the stuff.
All right, okay, fair enough. Maybe one day. Okay, my number 9 is another Xbox Live indie game. It's called Death Goat.
Nice.
It's actually, as soon as it kicks off, it's got really good high production values. It actually looks really nice. It's just Smash TV, but there's no boundaries. So, like, if you're getting swamped by enemies, you're backing away. You can just back away forever, essentially. As I said, it's really nice looking. There's a problem with the trial because it's based on time and points. So you start playing it, and if you play it for probably less than 3 minutes, it says, do you want to pay? Or go back to the dashboard. Or if you get a certain number of points, which I did in, I think, less than a minute, it just says, do you want to pay then? And you're like, well, yeah, that's a problem. I mean, it looks like it uses that classic metal iconography from all the sort of album covers and stuff. There's a thrash soundtrack by a band, an actual band. I don't know who they are, but they've obviously sort of allowed the game makers to use their music. There's K's and umlauts everywhere, like on controls on the menu is cunt trolls. And as soon as you start it shouts blasphemy. There's fire everywhere, exploding grannies are weapons, there's spiders with skull heads, and there's half people who like just torsos with arms who pull themselves around with tracking themselves on carts and stuff. The collectibles are pentagrams. It just looks, that's pretty much sums up how it looks. It's Smash TV with no boundaries, but I can't tell you any more than that because the creators just kept fucking saying give us money, and it's 240 Microsoft points, which I think is a little bit much.
Bit steep for the goat.
Yeah, it looks nice though.
Right, goat.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me, super quick, Super Hexagon. It came out for like fucking pennies on Steam, so I thought, okay, I'll get the Steam version as well. Same game, bigger screen, more of a headache, still fun. That's enough. Get it if you haven't played it. Okay,
better on the different.
It's better because you've got the exact controls of doing it on a keyboard, left and right. But worse because it's just so nice on the phone. So yeah, I don't know. Still just as good, but in different ways.
Okay. All right. My number 8 is not really a game. It's Wii Street U on the Nintendo Wii U. It's Google Maps. It's an interactive Google Maps. It's not interactive. It's just Google Maps, but you control it with the gamepad. I mistakenly thought, my girlfriend told me about this. She'd got an email from Nintendo, and I was like, fuck, because I thought it was Wii U panoramic view. Which I don't think many people have seen, but whenever I've been at a Nintendo event, they've had it there, and it's one of the most impressive things they've ever.
The thing where you're on the top of the London bus.
One of them's on a bus. There's one when you're on towards. Oh man, it's so impressive. And you can flick between day and night and sort of focus on two people sort of standing next to you. Yeah. It's incredible. Apparently that's out in a couple of months, or it's out imminently anyway. But this is just Google Maps on the Wii U. It's fine. There's some relaxing music in the background. It's functional, I guess, and there's places that you can. I went to the White House and tried to find the fecking Oval Office and couldn't. You can go to places and look around. Yeah.
So you can do all the Street View stuff.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, it's the same as on your phone, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, that sounds alright.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Not a game.
Yeah, whatever. It's fucking April. Yeah. Number 8 for me is Fire Emblem on the 3DS. It's got a subtitle, but I can't remember what it is. I barely touched it. I'm not even going to pretend that I have. I'll be playing it a hell of a lot this week. Seems really cool. I've never played a Fire Emblem game before. I always assumed years ago that there'd be something that I'd hate, but since then getting into Advance Wars, obviously by the same people, and stuff like XCOM since, I realised that it does sound something that I would like a lot. And this one's been getting rave reviews in the American press and the American copy of the game, so I reckon I'm going to rate it. But yeah, I've fucking barely touched it. It's been I've moved house this week, give a guy a break.
True that. That I can't wait for that game, and it's basically Advance Wars with a different skin. There are other differences, obviously, but you can't really complain. I do prefer Advance Wars because I don't like that whole medieval fucking staffs and swords and shit.
Yeah.
But I've no doubt that game's going to fucking kick ass, so I'll probably talk about it when it's out.
Sweet.
Okay, my number 7 is a game called Chasing Aurora on the Nintendo Wii U.
I've heard of that.
I hadn't heard of it. It was in I don't know if it's a new demo, but the demo was there anyway. It was front and centre of the eShop, so I downloaded it. I can't vouch for the full game off the back of it because the demo is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, have you seen what it looks like?
I don't know. I only know the name. The name kept appearing when the Wii U came out. Okay,
you play as a bird. It's actually a multiplayer game for up to 5 people, but you play as a bird or birds. The art style is really, really contrived. It's like all hard right angles and like browns and whites. It's kind of very self-consciously arty, and it really put me off. Right. But the demo is literally, my girlfriend came in when I was playing it. She was like, "What the hell's this called? Fly in a circle?" And I was like, "Yeah." Do you know what I mean? Because the demo is you do laps of this. You fly around in a circle, and then you get to part 2 of the demo, and you fly around in a circle again, and that is it. After that, it says, it shows you how to control it, which is just basically flapping your wings, and then you can dive a little bit as well. But you're going around in a circle, so it means nothing. And then, literally, as you've done those 2 levels, a really, really stuttery FM, like a recorded video of 5-player gameplay happens, and there's objectives and there's you can. It looks a little bit more interesting than the fucking demo, but. You can't vouch for that because you can't. As far as I know, you can't try it on multiplayer. You might be able to, but I tried it on single player, and all it got you to do was swing, fly around in a circle twice, and that's it. I mean, the multiplayer looks a bit more interesting because you chase each other, and there's something that you pick up. I don't know, but the demo's fucking terrible.
Man, that's not what Wii U needs right now. Terrible demos.
True that. I don't. And the thing is, it will go to other platforms. I don't think it's gonna. They made it for the Wii U, I think, but it will turn up on other platforms for half the price. It's just like shithouse.
All right. I'm on Wii U next for my number 7. It's the original F-Zero, which was on there for 30p, and it's wicked, obviously, because the original F-Zero is wicked.
It is.
Playing it on the gamepad, fun as hell. It looks a bit ugly, but it's much nicer on a gamepad than stretched out on an HD TV. Tunes are great. Still has like some of the tightest racing lines of any racing game. Still quite hard straight from the off as well, which is good, like the olden days. Fucking cool. And yeah, 30p. I don't know if it still is 30p. I think that offer might have ended now, but they're doing one a month, aren't they? Yeah. Of old school games for that price. And I doubt I'll spend much time with it, but for what I did for the price, you can't beat that shit.
Yeah, you can't. Wasn't there some kind of, not scandal, but people were upset because you couldn't play it just on the gamepad? Is that, or have they fixed that?
Well, I was playing it on the gamepad, so if that was the case, they've obviously fixed it.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, 30. But I saw it and I'm like, I've played that game to death so many times. I don't know if I really need it again.
Yeah, I never had it. Back in the day, I've smashed the hell out of the N64 one and the GameCube one and the GBA one. That's the one I played the most, but I never actually had the original F-Zero on my SNES. So, I doubt I'll play it again from what I've played, the 20, 30 minutes that I played of it. Okay. But, yeah, it's nice to have it on there.
Fair play. Okay. All right, my number 6 is an absolutely brilliant shooter on iOS. It's called Danmaku Unlimited 2. Heard of it?
No.
No, neither did I. Last week I typed shooter into the App Store because somebody told me this title, I'd forgotten it, and this is what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
It's not made by Cave. It's made by a company called, what the hell are they called? Doragon, I think. Doragon, something like that. But they previously made a game called Storm Strikers, and obviously the first Danmaku. I think they're native on iOS. They're fantastic. They're not Cave rip-offs, but they're very reminiscent of Cave shooters. They control like all the iOS ports of Cave, so you hold your finger on the ship and move it around and stuff. It looks lovely. It slightly reminded me of Ikaruga. It was because it's rather than being all black and white, it's kind of baby blue and dark purple. It's just aesthetic. It's just the sort of the difference between the two. It's nothing to do with the gameplay. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a storm. It's a cave-style bullet hell shooter it's just a fucking joy to play. It's really hectic. It's genuinely difficult. My problem with those cave ports is that they're a bit too easy, and this is straight away difficult. There's easy, normal, hard, and extreme, and I'm doing it on normal, and it's plenty difficult already. The main crux of it is you can pick either burst mode or classic mode. The burst mode is where the scoring is dependent on how many bullets you sort of skim by, kind of like Burnout. Mm-hmm. And classic mode is, your score's based on how many enemies you shoot and how far you get. So just sort of, very old school, obviously. There's also a trance meter which you build up, and you can get it to deploy either automatically or you can do it whenever you want it to happen. And it basically turns all of the enemies into stars, and you can sort of collect them and get a load of points if there's a load of enemies on screen. And that, when you do that, it looks superb. There's stuff like leaderboards and stuff. I mean, it's better, I dare say it's better than some of the cave ports on there, and I think very highly of them. It's £1.49. And absolutely fucking brilliant. If you like shooters, god damn it, $1.49. It's fucking superb.
What's it called again?
It's called Danmaku Unlimited. Danmaku. It's Danmaku Unlimited 2 is the one I've got. But one of the best shooters on iOS, definitely.
Sweet.
Really impressed. Fucking impressed.
Danmaku. That actually sounds like I might get it.
Well, there's a free trial as well, I think.
All right. So I'll try and remember to do that then. Danmaku. Danny Max.
Indeed.
Yeah, that sounds all right. That sounds good. My number 6 is the other 30p Wii U Nintendo game, whatever, Punch-Out, which was the second one, which is still fucking good fun, despite being about 1 million years old. it's hilariously racist as well. And I love like that naive Japanese racism that used to get back then. Just like fucking the German guy, it's just outstandingly racist. Yeah, good. It's fucking punch out, dodge the punch, whack the guy. It just made me want to play the Wii version, which I fucking got rid of like a mong. Which is fucking brilliant, superb. But it says something that gameplay is still fun on the original one. Still, looking for the tells, dodging the right time, hitting back. Still just a really good central mechanic that the matches are somehow more dramatic than most proper boxing games. Although the gameplay isn't as good as like Fight Night, it still manages to capture the spirit of Rocky quite well, even with that primitive thing. So yeah, for 30p, sweet. But it did make me want to play the Wii version, which is gleamy. If you do see that, and you've got a Wii U or a Wii, and you see it on the cheap, you've got to get it. The Wii version. That's
a game that as soon as you said Punch Out, I thought, God, I've got to pick up the Wii version again, because that nowhere near enough people played that game, and God damn it was. I
think it was just me and you.
Yeah, that was it. I take it this is the watered down. It's not branded with Tyson or anything.
No, it's not. It's the Japanese one, I guess, but with the I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Buy the Wii one. I'm going to do that myself. Okay, my number 5 is a game called Impossible Pixel on iOS again. It's a free game. It got a lot of publicity somewhere. I read about it repeatedly on a website. I can't remember which one. It kept coming up, and then my girlfriend downloaded it, and she said, "You've got to play it." It's pretty good. It's hard to get too excited about it because it's the second game in probably since the beginning of this year. The first one was Blip, which is just clearly in awe of Super Meat Boy.
Right.
To say that it bears a resemblance is I mean, there's no point in even pointing out. It's not a carbon copy, but there are too many similarities for it not to be a little bit bothersome. It's black and white. Your character is a sort of a Stickman, a very heavily pixelated Stickman. It kind of looks like. Do you remember that game N+?
Yeah.
It looks like that, but it's all black and white. And yeah, you're bouncing around. It's got that same slippery, slidey controls, which involve so much precision. And that's another problem because I just find myself wishing that I was playing it on a control pad. And yeah, it's very good. There's some nice little puzzles in it. I mean, your primary enemies are those rotating fan blades. So I mean, there are bits where you're bouncing wall to wall, avoiding these blades. And you're just like, I've done this. This is Super Meat Boy. It doesn't really add. There's loads of levels. There's a lot of content here, and it's very, very difficult, like Super Meat Boy. So how many levels in am I? Probably 15 or so. There's a lot of levels in the game, and there's a nonsense plot about space aliens, which is just completely ignorable. It's good. It works. It's fine. But if you've played Super Meat Boy, you might just be thinking. For some reason, I didn't warm to this as much as I did Blip, which in many ways was as derivative. But this just felt. It felt far too reminiscent of Super Meat Boy, and it just made me feel a little bit like, try something, do something with this, rather than just be content to follow Super Meat Boy. But having said that, it's fine, and if you haven't played that, then this will do, definitely.
And the controls are tight enough, are they?
Yeah, it works. It works great. I mean, it's like Blip. The controls are really, really nice, and it does adapt surprisingly well to a phone, which makes me think that Super Meat Boy will turn up on iOS at some point. But you do still wish, because when you fuck up, it's too easy to fuck up on a screen. You'd rather have a pad, but that's just because that's what we do. But yeah,
no doubt.
Pretty good.
All right. All right. My number 5 is Metal Gear Solid 3 on the Vita, trying to play through. The fucking controls they're too hard. I swear it was easier when I played a bit of Metal Gear 3 on the HD collection on the PS3, and I swear it wasn't as complicated as this. Just probably about 2.5 hours into the game, and it's starting to get a bit harder. And there's one bit where it's asking you have to basically kill everyone. You can't sneak around, and it's like 9 buttons just to do something basic. You fuck it up, you die so quickly. Yeah, the new one's coming out, and that will have much better controls. It's a problem with going back with games because the idea you go back, you watch a director's movie and you haven't seen their previous body of work, so you go and track it down, and it's always quite a good thing to do, especially if you really feel like you've clicked with a director, and you can't really do that in the same way with games because you go back and the games they're so driven by innovation and technology and design that trying to go back 10 years can be a fucking ball ache. and this is it. Even though was one of my favourite games of all time, I'm finding it almost impossible to play now because I've just spent way too long playing so many games with basically the same control scheme for the last 8-9 years that trying to do anything else, my brain just isn't wired that way anymore.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, so this isn't the same one that launched on, say, I suppose this is the same one that launched on the consoles, the PlayStation and Xbox. It's the collection, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have Peace Walker on it. It just has 2 and 3 on the Vita.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought. Well, at least they're better than 2, right?
They are better than 2 because you've got the third-person camera, which you don't have in 2. It's all overhead in 2. But just trying to do stuff like pushing up against the wall. It's the same thing. It takes about 9 buttons to do what is 1 button in Gears of War. And the fact that I was able to do it so well back then makes me even angrier. Yeah. But it's harder on the Vita because you've only got 1 shoulder button as well, which makes everything even harder. But I basically want the game to play in my mind as if I was in the Matrix, so I can see it all and play it. But I don't want to actually physically have to grapple with my hands to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not going to persevere with it?
Well, it's on there. If I've got travelling to do, maybe. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. So.
Okay. Fair enough. My number 4 is Runner 2 Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien on the Xbox 360. I presume you've heard of this.
I've heard of it. I thought it was something to do with Bit Trip, is it not?
I'm pretty sure it's made by the same people who made the Bit Trip series, yeah. So It's technically a sequel to Bit Trip Runner, which I didn't play. The only Bit Trip game I played was round yours years ago, and it involved tilting the Wii remote.
Yeah. That was the first one.
Yeah,
Bit Trip Beat, was it?
That sounds about right, yeah. And it really did seem like my sort of thing. And I've intended to buy the compilation disc that's available for the Wii, but I've never got round to it. And I've only played the trial of this, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely so far up my street. I think you'd really dig it as well.
Yeah.
There's a quote on the poster. So it's not attributed to anyone, but it says the first must-have game of 2013, and I'm just like, I probably wouldn't go that far, but damn, me and my girlfriend played the trial. The trial's hefty. It's like between 8 and 10 levels.
Right.
Again, is it an instant runner? Instant runner. I don't know. You're a little guy. It looks nice, a little bit twee, but it looks quite nice. You're a guy running along, and you jump, you slide to avoid obstacles, and you collect all of the collectibles, and you can also punch your way through walls. Everything you do affects the music. And it's really crafty, some of it, because the longer it goes on, it all becomes about jumping or performing an action at the right time, because things are slightly out of reach, and if you jump, you can't jump again in time, so sometimes you have to catch it on your way up, and sometimes you have to catch it on your way down. But it's instantly exciting in the way that great music games are, because the way it builds the music is... really damn good. I mean, me and my girlfriend, like I said, we played the whole demo from beginning to end. It took probably about 40 minutes. It's substantial, although there's a lot more if you pay for the whole thing. The first your access is to the first batch of levels, and they all use the same piece of music, which is who's that band you introduced me to? They're kind of twee indie band, but they were all electronica.
Postal Service?
That sounds. I think I'm almost certain that's right. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that. I don't know. I assume that other levels, other batches of levels rather, are going to have different music and different sounds and stuff. But just based on the beginning, I mean, I almost bought it instantaneously, but unfortunately, it's a real shame. But just moments before that, I bought 2 games. I bought Mark of the Ninja and Retro City Rampage, both of which were on sale for half price, and I'm just like, this is too... I want to support it by paying for the full thing, but I know that in a little while I'll be able to get it for half price. It's a terrible way to think, but it deserves 1,200 as well. I don't know, maybe I'll get it, but then again I'll get it and then 2 days later, hey, you get it for 600. But I'll try the trial because it's a really, really terrific music game. Really just... Yeah, I mean it's fucking great. The 9s and the 9s. I don't know about the 10s, but the 9s it's been getting in places are totally deserved.
Damn. Yeah, that does sound like my sort of thing. Definitely.
I'm sure it would be.
I'll check that out.
Runner 2. Just have a look at the trial. It's available on PSN and Wii U as well. It's on. So
okay.
Check it.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, that sounds good. funny you should talk of Marco Ninja, because that's my number 4.
All right.
600 points this week. I've been meaning to get it, and it kept going on sale, and then I'd forget to buy it. Then it went back up to full price, and it's kept happening since it's come out. But yeah, I've got it this time. And yeah, the game's wicked. I'd played the trial before, and then I'd heard all over the place from loads of different people how good it actually was when you get stuck into the game. And it really is. As a stealth game, it gives you so much information in order for you to be stealthy, like your footsteps, enemies' footsteps, positioning, all the different things you can do, and you just constantly feel like you have options, and it rewards you constantly for doing things well, like remaining undetected as a guard goes past, getting a certain, like when you go to kill someone, a little prompt will come up on the screen. If you press the direction wrong, you'll do a loud kill, but if you get it right, you'll do a silent kill. If you dispose of the body, you get more points. It's constantly rewarding you in a really nice way. The movement of your guy is awesome, animated brilliantly. It feels really nice. You feel like totally in control of your environment. Everything has loads of different ways in and out, and it's just brilliantly designed. And the fact it's 2D means that there's way less margin for error that there is in a normal 3D stealth game, which I always find frustrating when you plan it out in your mind, but then you fuck it up because you've got the perspective wrong or something. Whereas in this, you're not really going to do that, because you feel so in control of your guy, even from an early stage. It's very fucking cool. I'm assuming you haven't had a chance to play it yet, despite having bought it.
No, I haven't. I literally haven't. I intended to, but I didn't get the time in the end. But I've heard too many good things about it.
It's clearly fucking wicked. I've only played like the first few levels, but very, very nice, very cool. Just really good. And I said this ages ago when I talked about it when it first came out. This was like my dream game as a kid. I used to just think about ninjas. It's all I used to think about all day, every day, and ninja video games before I had computer games at home. And before I was a ninja, so now everything's come together all at once.
All right. So you haven't completed it. You don't know how long it is or anything like that.
No. I think it's. I hear it's about 6 hours or something, but tons of replay value on every level.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that next week, no doubt.
Real talk.
Okay. My number 3 is a game called Battlefield 3 on the Xbox 360. It is a shooter, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I've been playing it fuckloads. I've convinced, after absolutely hounding my mate who sells TVs and audiovisual equipment, that's what he does. I convinced him to take advantage of his discount and get a projector and a massive screen in his gaff. He's already got a sound system to die for, but yeah, he's finally got that. So it's 77 inches and you don't want to play Battlefield any other way. I honestly don't want to play Battlefield on a TV anymore. It's still absolutely amazing. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it's something we've started. It's funny that we've only started noticing this, a year and a half down the line or whatever it is. But when you're playing on Operation Metro and you're doing really well and you've got a load of points, the game crashes.
Really?
It's funny how it's just started to come up in conversation. Oh God, we've got to be careful on Metro because it will just crash and not save all your stuff. But it happens all the time, and it has done throughout the whole of Battlefield 3's life. I just don't know why it's become more apparent now. With regards to the sound, I didn't know about this, but when I went round to my mate's house the other day, he was like, "Oh, I've put it on war tapes mode," and I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, it's more authentic sound." War tapes. That kind of gave me a little bit of ugh. It made me feel a little bit uneasy. War tapes. But I mean, when you're playing and it's still a video game. Obviously, just the sound is absolutely. It feels like you're in the middle of a battlefield. I just wish they didn't call it war tapes. It makes it kind of hits it home a little bit. But anyway, Battlefield 3. What the fuck am I supposed to say about it that I haven't already?
Yeah, I'd like to see the fucking PC version on that shit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where I think I'm going to have to get PC. I've been thinking about it all day, in fact, and yesterday. I can't afford it, obviously, but that doesn't stop me. And seeing, we'll talk about BioShock later, but seeing that in the PC version, I was like, fucking hell. I mean, the 360 version looks great, but then that, and seeing all the stuff that's coming out this year. I know new consoles are coming out at the end of the year as well, but I don't know. It feels like things are just going that way at the moment. Even when stuff like Devil May Cry is coming out on PC, and that's the best version, it's making me think, I can hook this up to my TV, I can play on the 360 pad. It's tough. Yeah, I've always been a console guy, but.
Yeah, I don't like the pain in the neck of. It's exactly the same as you. PC, I've kept at arm's length, and hearing people talk, oh, well, you need this card, and my rig can't handle it. I'm like, why have the hassle? Just fucking buy a machine. But then again, there's sort of inklings that the next generation of consoles are going to be sort of heavily upgradable anyway. So it's going to be the same thing eventually, almost certainly.
Yeah, Mega CD. It's all about Mega CD.
Still the boy.
Yeah. Is it me?
Yes.
My number 3.
Yeah.
Super Stickman Golf 2 on iOS, which is wicked.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It is a 2D side-on like fucking golf game where you have to hit the ball. It's golf, but the courses are like massive hills and drops and things like that. It's like as if the courses were from a platform game, but you've got a golf around them. Yeah, I'd heard people raving about it. I think it came out the same day as Ridiculous Fishing, which is still green. And yeah, it's just another really fun iOS game. You are a little stick man. You can hit the golf ball, like smack it up. It's sort of like, no, I don't know what I was going to say there. Ignore that. It's really simple, but it's the type of game that you'd play for 1 second and you'd get everything about it straight away. I still haven't played that much. Like I said, moved house. I've not had a chance to play games massively this week. But it seems like as you play more, you get more power-ups. It's going to be able to do different things. But 69p already seems like a good investment.
Mm. Yeah, it does. Microtransactions, ball ache?
No microtrans. Just game.
All right, well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And I like the title.
Yeah, and it's fucking exactly what it says.
All right, fair play to
super.
it. Yeah. All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's all white, mate. It's all white.
It's all white. Okay, my number 2 is all white also. It's BioShock Infinite. I haven't finished it yet. I told you where I was, and you said I was like approaching the end.
I said you were in the final... So, you said you haven't finished it?
No. Where I said I haven't progressed from when I spoke to you yesterday.
Okay, sure.
So,
you're in the final,
yeah,
straight run.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about it more next week. But as far as I'm concerned, it's maintained the level of quality throughout that it was suggested by the opening. And everything that we've said about it, I guess everything's been said. I'll speak about the ending next week. How it sort of fares up to the rest of the experience without any spoilers, obviously. But I just think it's absolutely tremendous. The backlash has started already. I noticed.
Yeah, of course it has.
It's weird. It's so. Did you see Charlie Brooker said something?
I saw 2 tweets and I was like, do you know what? Shut up. You don't. It's that kind of attitude. I mean, he talked about. Don't pretend to be something that you're not, basically. Yeah. You're just this. You're just a game about shooting things and firing wizard stuff out of your hands. And it's like, don't tell them what they can and can't do.
I know. I think that's a hang-up of his, because when he was
talking... It's a really reductive attitude. Yeah.
I know. But when he spoke about Django Unchained, he was like, I can't believe all these people are having these high-minded conversations. It's a film in which a guy gets his bollocks shot off. And I'm like, why can't those things coexist in the same thing? It's like completely he stepped away from that discussion, which I think speaks volumes about it.
Yeah. Well, he used to call himself, in the first of his TV compilation books... Does that make sense, that sentence?
Yeah.
The compilation of all his TV columns, the first book of his, before he was anywhere near as famous as he is now, his little bio at the beginning says former game journalist, and he put journalist as in quotation marks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, you're just a guy who just fucking wrote for a magazine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the job that many people would kill for. So, yeah, he obviously is still a bit ashamed and embarrassed by it, despite... He gives games more coverage than most people
he does.
In that world. But, I thought those tweets were very reductive, and especially as he clearly hadn't finished the game. And I did the Ken Levine argument wins for me in that one, where if you treat it like musical numbers. Yeah. I've seen plenty of people say that they'd rather the game wasn't a shooter, but I don't think it's a shame to be a shooter, and I don't think you should be ashamed for it to be a shooter, because it's a fucking good one.
Yeah, it is. It really is. That's the most important thing. It's a tremendous shooter, and all the other stuff is just enriches everything 100-fold. Is that a British thing? That feels like a really British thing where people just seem to be. I told you that I saw the South Park guys musical at the weekend, Book of Mormon, and America fucking loved it, and over here it's been getting a bit of a mixed response. And I saw it, and I was like, it was okay. There were things about it I liked and stuff, but I was I say it's worth seeing just about, but everybody in that audience fucking loved it. I mean, they were going, the ovation they got at the end was just absolute, and I was like, this is great. I'm so happy that these people love it as much as they do. But I got home and I put Book of Mormon into Twitter. And it's all of these people. I mean, some of them are celebrities. David Baddiel was one or something. He's like, I can't believe all these people don't get it. Here's 10 reasons why I think people don't like it. And it's like they're so self-conscious about people having different opinions from them that they're making up all these. They're fantasizing about why certain people don't like it, and they don't like this and that. I'm like, why are you bothering? Enjoy it. Honestly, it blows me out. It feels like a really British thing. It's like if loads of people like something, you'll always get a band of people saying, "Oh, well, I think this," and I think people only like it because this, and this is a simpler argument or I don't know why people bother getting involved in discussions like that. I mean, I'm sure we've done it in the past as well about games that we like that other people don't. But it's just what a waste of fucking energy. And
it really is.
I'm thrilled that people love BioShock Infinite. I'm one of them, but if I didn't, Anyway, sorry, that was a complete off the tangent.
You're totally right, and the negative stuff that's come down. Absolutely, if you've got problems with the game, or I could, if I chose to, I could pick a few faults here and there as well. But I chose to. For me, they didn't even calculate on the experience that I've had with it, so it didn't even matter. But if they have affected other people's playthroughs, then that's a shame for them because they didn't get to enjoy it as much as I did. But I don't get to enjoy Assassin's Creed as much as other people obviously do. That's just the way it goes.
True.
But for me, I'm very excited for you to get to the end of the game because that's you need to get. It's very much a complete experience, and it only completes itself once you get to the end. Then that would be very exciting to talk to you about. Obviously, no spoilers or anything like that. I'm going back through it on 1999 mode, which is probably a little bit too hard. I'll probably scale back and do it again on hard mode because on 1999 mode, it's basically you got no health, no ammo for large parts of it, and when you die, the penalty is way higher. It costs more when you die, and if you run out of money, it boots you all the way back to the main menu, and you have to load it up again. You still get to the checkpoint, but it's clearly not been. The game's not been structured or designed to be played like this. It's just there if you want it.
I see.
So it is a bit of a pain in the arse. And like I said, having seen the PC version, it's like, fuck. I wouldn't mind playing it looking like that. I really wouldn't. But I've been spending the whole time I've been without the internet, having moved house and stuff. I've been chatting to my good buddy Simon Miller, who's just started on videogamer.com actually as the editor-in-chief. So congratulations to him. Anyway. He finished the game shortly after I did, and we've just been going back and forth on WhatsApp, chatting about what happens and all the things. And it's a very interesting story that's well worth discussion and will be discussed for a long time.
Yeah, indeed. No, I mean, like I said, it's maintained the level of quality suggested by the beginning, and it's good. I mean, it is rare for me to follow a game's story as much as I have this one, and there are surprises throughout it. I don't think there were any dead zones, and I like the constant. It's willfully uneven, so there's stretches where there's no combat, and then there's loads, and then it doesn't feel content to follow a structure, which I really, really like about it.
Yeah.
But I love it to bits, and I'll talk about it a bit more next week.
Yeah, for sure. It amused me actually. I was listening to Dave talk about it, and it was excellent that he's enjoying it so much. It's great. Yeah. But he called it a very simple story, and it's fair enough because he was early on in the game. But my God, it ain't. Yeah, it couldn't be any less simple. But I'm sure he now knows that, having played a bunch more, I'm sure.
For real.
Fucking get it. I'm sure you already have. But yeah, benchmark shit. That was my number 2. So,
it's your number 2 as well? Okay. Yeah. Okay, my number 1 is Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel on the Xbox 360. Have you played this?
No, not touched it.
Okay. I blitzed through it and I finished it in... I think it was closer to 8 hours than 6, but I've seen a few websites. I've scanned a couple of reviews, and the sentiment is widespread. It's, for example, Eurogamer tweeted, "Here's our review by so and so. He can't even remember playing it, and he finished it yesterday." Jim Sterling said something about how they're just like there's nothing to define them. They're just so completely. They have no personality at all. I agree with most of that, except I think that this is the third one is by a comfortable distance, it's the best of the 3.
Right.
That's not to say it's great. I enjoyed it. The best way I can summarise it is if you look at it and you want to hate it, you will. If you look at it and you want to love it, you will as well. It does exactly what it says on the tin, with a few flourishes that are really quite disturbing is the wrong word, but I mean, have you seen Overkill mode?
Is that when everything just explodes?
Well, basically, you build it up. You build to with your co-op buddy. You build up meters, and once it's at the top, either of you can deploy this overkill mode, and your weapons become super powerful. So you can you have infinite ammo. So you basically go on a rampage, shooting the shit out of all of the environment. The environment explodes. Almost everything is destroyed. It looks great. But so do the bad guys. So their limbs fly off. They just turn into like massive piles of meat flying all over the place. I mean, it's really satisfying. But if I wasn't a gamer, I'd look at it and be quite. I think that the person playing it was quite disturbed. It's really messy, and it's so satisfying. It's one of the most satisfying parts of the game. And it just looks great, and that's what I like about it. It's called Overkill mode. The game should have just been called Overkill because it's so OTT. And when you do stuff like that, and then there's moments where scenery, like massive, things in the background that look like they're not interactive, will just collapse if you throw a grenade on them, and it's just loud and obnoxious. And there's a set piece on Cinco de Mayo in Mexico where. There's just boxes of fireworks everywhere, so it's chaotic and amusingly so. So yeah, in that sense, it's a little bit more inventive than the first two. If there's one problem, and there are several, but if there's one that sort of sums up how I feel about the game, I might be able to warm to it a little bit if I knew that it had been written by like a 13-year-old boy who won a competition.
Right.
It's not. If you're a wordsmith by trade, it will rankle that whoever wrote this has their name, a credit on it as having written it, because the dialogue is just unbelievably bad. It's like they wanted to offer up something that everybody that plays it has experienced before in some form. So. How best to describe? I mean, for example, near the beginning, they're looking for this girl. They're searching for a damsel in distress. What a surprise! And they find this goon. They run up to him and they say, "Where's the girl?" He says, "Fuck you, pendejo." And then the guy, your character, replies, "Wrong answer." And I can't even remember what happens after that because that's how memorable it is. Half an hour after that, you encounter another goon. And you shout, "Where's the girl?" And he says, "Fuck you, pendejo." And then you shoot him in the leg and you interrogate him and you get the information out of him. Aside from the stuff that's so generic, it almost feels like it's trying to satirise something. Although it's not. It's just brain dead. Brain dead's a polite way of putting it. You just wonder. Like I said, if it was a 13-year-old kid like fulfilling some kind of weird fantasies, you'd be like, okay, but this is clearly the work of an adult, and I find that a little bit bothersome. Dialogue's terrible. There's a bit where they're walking outside. "Oh, the sun's hot, man. Why are you being such a pussy?" "'Cause you'll get skin cancer, man. We need to be more worried about bullet cancer." That's one of the highlights of the dialogue. It's quite unbelievable how it's. I'm telling you, that was like, oh wow, that's a really good bit of dialogue for this game. But it kind of revels in how shit it is. There's like, oh, aren't I clever references like, "Don't shoot the red barrels. Why? They'll explode. Don't you play video games?" And you're like, what?
Oh, Christ.
The writing, not a surprise, but it's terrible. The gameplay is what you'd expect. There's a curious decision being made because it's so similar to Gears of War, and actually, in particular, Gears of War Judgment, because it's bite-sized chunks. It's siphoned off into little bits. There's leaderboards and stuff, and that side of it's all right. But they've made a decision to, on the Xbox, you press, clicking the left thumbstick, COD style is run. But everything to do with cover is the A button, so you can't run into cover without it. It takes some getting used to, and even when you are used to it, it doesn't totally feel like it fits. It's all about earning money. Everything you do earns you money, and then you spend it in an armory designing masks or buying kit or guns and stuff. And that's fine. It offers up the bare minimum of what you expect of it. But what can I say? It entertained me. I thought it was quite enjoyable. I'd prefer it to have done it on with a co-op with a real person. I did it on with an AI co-op partner, and incidentally, that's quite annoying because Overkill mode, they can just deploy it whenever they want, seemingly at random. So you can be walking down the street, there's no enemies, and you've wasted Overkill mode because you're playing with a fucking AI idiot. But there's nice touches in it. All of the guns have really small clips, so you're supposed to coordinate when you're reloading because it does make a difference on the harder difficulties, but you can't do that obviously if you're playing alone. It's just so big and stupid, and it's just so simple-minded. There's no collectibles, there's no alternate paths. You're never worried about ammo. I never once thought I should probably try and pick up some ammo, but because you never have to worry about it. Yeah, I liked it. It's the best one of the three by a comfortable margin, as I said. And if you want a co-op dumb as dog shit shoot 'em up, it's a pretty good one. And there is some spectacle as well. The Frostbite engine does look good when you're blowing shit up. So yeah, pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It is fun. That's the thing. It's fun. I mean, it does no more than that. Absolutely no more. But comfortably entertaining if you don't mind a shit game now and again.
It's funny that it came out on the same day as BioShock.
Yeah, that was. Well, I suppose that might be. Is that smart? Maybe because I mean, it's two completely different audiences. I'd have thought. I mean, I know BioShock's a shooter, but there are certain people who don't want anything to do with that who might be swayed by Army 2. Yeah.
Do you think Brooker just wants every game to be like this then?
Well, he insinuated something like that, didn't he? He said, you not in those tweets, but he said it before. He said you demand sort of stupid. It is like I said a few months ago. I spoke to one of the guys who made it, and he kept saying the Expendables 2, or the Expendables, and I'm like, this is better than the Expendables because at least it's brazenly, it embraces how fucking terrible it is. And that gun, when you shoot people with shotguns and they turn into just fucking piles of flying meat, that's something from the Expendables, isn't it? It's one of them has a gun that just. Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. It's shit, but I liked it.
Yeah, I can't see there being a time where I ever play it, but yeah, it sounds fun in a shit sort of way. Yeah, better than the second one anyway.
By far. That's
a load of shit house.
Yes, indeed, no doubt.
My number one is Luigi's Mansion 2, Dark Moon, although it doesn't appear to be called that in the UK, so whatever. I'll get the annoying bit out of the way. There was an audio bug at the beginning, the second window you look through in the game, which killed all the sound effects. So I ended up doing the first part of the game, including the intro and that bit where that baby scientist guy talks to you for ages and keeps calling you up. 5 times I did that in a row. That was not a good way. For the first game to play after BioShock Infinite, that was not a good start. However, thankfully, you can avoid the little bit that caused the audio bug. It wasn't necessary to completing the game, and it hasn't happened since. So I've played a good chunk more. And like you said, it's lovely. Really, really fun. Classic Nintendo, very funny. Luigi's really funny, isn't he? The way he's animated, all the little touches. A lot of it was in the original Luigi's Mansion, but still really cool. Makes me feel stupid, exactly like you said. Basically, all my opinions are exactly like the ones that you gave a couple of weeks ago about it. Just really lovely, charming, funny, clever, great use of 3D. Really fucking like it. Looking forward to getting stuck into more of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to say. I was struggling for things to say. It's Nintendo doing what they do so well. And yeah, I like the fact that it is surprisingly tricky, and I did get stuck, but it was never that drastic. I mean, like I never had to resort to a guide or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rate it very highly, and I still do think that if you have a 3DS and you don't have that, you need your head examined.
Yeah. Although apparently, if you're trying to buy it in retail, it's really difficult to buy. I managed to find it in the back room at the Tesco fucking mega store around the corner, which is amazing that they didn't have everything in there. But yeah, there wasn't on shelves, and I'm reading that it's really difficult to buy, which fucking sucks. I remember that happening with Kid Icarus. I just couldn't buy it anywhere, apart from online. So it doesn't help when all retail's failing. You can't actually go and help them. But yeah, that sucks. Never mind.
I wonder where that is. Are they just trying to,
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a sort of, it's a deliberate effort to try and make people buy it over, download it.
Yeah, maybe. Quite possibly.
It's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, I did manage to get it, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm at the end of the first mansion or something. Like I said, I haven't had much time to play many games this week. But very, very, everything about it is good. Nothing about it is bad, apart from that audio bug, which I'm amazed made it into a Nintendo game. I'm not the only person it's happened to. I put it out on Twitter, and I got loads of replies saying that other people had it as well. I don't know if it's just a UK version thing, or I don't know. But yeah, awesome.
Cool. Okay, yeah, it is great. It's truly something special. Have you played the multiplayer? I only had a look at it briefly.
No, I haven't. No.
It seemed okay. I mean,
what is it?
It's kind of like co-op. You're in this mansion. I played with 3 other people. They were in Japan at the time, so it was a bit of lag and stuff. But someone will get into trouble, and an exclamation mark will come up, and you have to run to their room and help them dispatch a ghost. But it felt like something that would work really well locally, but online, because I don't know what Nintendo have done with voice chat. Can you do that?
I think, well, there's a microphone in there, so I think you might just be able to talk at your 3DS, but I don't know.
Yeah, because they did that on Heroes of Ruin.
Right.
And I said back then it felt like they were experimenting and toying with the idea of implementing that because they've never been that keen to have sort of voice support for their games.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, it's because if sometimes you run to a room, you run all the way around this mansion to find the guy who's in a skirmish and he's fighting a little ghost and you're like, well, I could have just stayed doing what I was doing, looking for stuff rather than running there. But if you're all in a room together, you're like, fuck, I need help, quick. That could be really entertaining. But yeah, it seemed okay. But it's worth it for the campaign anyway.
Yeah, no doubt.
No
Very
doubt.
cool stuff.
Yes, true dizzle. Okay, all right, well, that is us done. Thank you very much for listening. As usual, check out, we're on Twitter, at John Denton, at Chet Roivas, and also check out our YouTube channel, if nothing else, because there isn't anything else. There's nothing on the fineartplayers.com, just stuff that's on YouTube and on this podcast, which you're listening to, so yeah, there you go. Thanks for listening. We will see you again next week. Bleh.
Tell me where they took Cordova.
Fuck you, pendejo. Ah! Ah!